Piece of Pie. This is a new game by Blue Orange. It is mainly filler if you're playing it with your adult friends at game night. It is a fully legit game if you're playing it as a family game with your children. I played it with my daughters that are now 7 and 9. They love it. I like it very much also. It lasts about 10 minutes, and again, it can be a filler or a family game depending on how you look at it. Speaking of look at it, look at the presentation, really nice. In this game we make pies, and each player will make 1 or 2. You make 2 pies if you're playing with 2 players, otherwise with 3 or 4 players is a pie each. If you play with 3 players also, you have fewer pies, so you do not use these ones with the dark background. So you take all of these slices of pie that are, by the way, nice and thick, really good, fun production. Shuffle, 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 and you make a bunch of starting pies. If you have, again, 2 or 4 players, you're gonna have 4 pies here around this token here. With 3 players, you only have 3. And suppose you're playing with 3 players, we remove the dark backgrounds, and then we place the other slices randomly to make 3 pies, and with those arrows pointing at a specific slice. That indicates the first slice that need to be taken if you're taking slices from that pie. Basically, this is a drafting game. You will take turns collecting slices of pies from the central area and then use them to build your own in your personal play area. And this is the basic idea. I mean, the game is that simple. It'll take me just the time to set it up, is also the time it'll take me to explain the game. During your turn, you simply choose a slice from the center. If it is the first slice that is taken from a pie, it needs to be the one that the thingy, that the arrow on the token is pointing to. Otherwise, if not, it has to be one that is adjacent to where you cut the pie originally. Oh, there are too many slices here. It needs to be adjacent to where you cut the pie originally. With 4 players, you're gonna have 4 pies to draw from, and each player builds a pie. With 2 players, still 4 in the middle, but each player builds 2 pies. So again, when it is your turn, all that you do is you take a slice, again the one that is being pointed at, if it's your first one. Otherwise, then you have to take one that is available next to a previous cut. So in this case, this one or this one. And then could be this one or this one, or again this one or that one. And suppose I want to place that one. When you collect your slice of pie, you're making your own personal pie, and the first slice you just put in front of yourself. The other slices you collect need to be adjacent to slices that you already have, and that's how you build them. You cannot rearrange them later, because who is gonna disassemble a pie? That is just weird. And that's how you do things here. So everybody will have a pie or 2. But why you're building pies? Well, to score points at the end of the game. This card here is always face up where all players can see it, because that reminds you of things that you can score at the end of the game. At the end of the game, you will score 1 point for each slice that you have that has chocolate shavings, 1 point for each pair of slices that have frosting next to each other. So if this was my pie, imagine it's complete, there would be 3 points for that, and 5 points for each set of decorations that you have: a heart, a flower, and a star. Look at this one. This pie, if complete, would just give me those points. Then we have variable ways of scoring. Each player receives one of these cards at the beginning of the game, face down, and that means that each slice that you have of that color will score 1 point. Then each player receives a card from this deck and a card from this deck. Nope, that's not how it works. Sorry, my mistake. Beginning of the game, we shuffle these 2, and we place a card from each deck available face up. and those are things that will score for everybody at the end of the game. And so that means that each game you're gonna have fairly different ways of scoring. Here, for example, you score 2 points for each 2 slices of the same color, of the same type that you have. Oh, I have 2 apricots next to each other. That scores me 2 points. And later, oh, now that is 6. Oh man, I'm rocking here because that's another 2 points. Here, you score 3 points for each slice of kiwi pie within, between 2 slices of another color, like a sandwich with kiwi in the middle. And again, I don't need to go through all the cards. The general idea is that each game you will have 3 standards way of scoring, 1 secret way of scoring, which is standard, and everybody has 1 point per slice, but still there's a secret element there, and then 2 variable ways of scoring available to each player. And this is how you play Piece of Pie. The player with the highest score wins the game. That's simple. As you can see, this is really the quintessence of simplicity. Get a slice and make a pie. When the pies are ready, you score points. Really, really simple. 5-10 minutes to play. Maybe 10 more than 5, but definitely less than 15. Even play with children who like to take their sweet time, no pun intended. It's a simple game, and yet it is surprisingly pleasant, of course, as a filler for something this simple, for something to play with a 7-year-old, with a 9-year-old. They love it. The theme is attractive, the components, the colors are vibrant, beautiful, thick and sturdy, so fun to play with, fun to manipulate. Definitely there is a nice feel there. And gameplay, well, it can be super simple. At the beginning of the game, the first player will have 3 slices to choose from. Then you have a little bit more. But in truth, usually you will have each turn maybe 2 things that you want to consider. And it's not much, but of course that still means you're not going on autopilot. There's still a couple of interesting decisions here. One of the most interesting things to me is that, of course, all of the pies are visible. Scoring is visible, with the exception of the secret thing. But the secret thing is really not all that important. I want to prevent you from getting a set of 3. Who cares if you get an extra slice of your secret and that scores you 1 point, when a set of 3 will give you 5. And so sometimes you will want to try not to unlock certain cards. As I say, I know that you really want that heart, and you're the next player, and so if I take this one, then I'm basically giving you that one. And so I'm trying to figure out those ways for me to do things that still matter without unlocking something that is available to you. Again, super simple idea, but it gives you something to think about, something to consider that adds a little bit to the general strategy of the game. In general, you want to try to form as many patterns as possible, as players will take the things that you want. Something that I was dubious about was, again, the secret cards, because, well, suppose in the situation they showed you where you score points by collecting kiwis, isn't it like an unfair advantage if your secret objective is also kiwi? Because in that case, then, well, you can just do 2 services with 1 trip. Yes and no, because then everybody else also wants kiwi. And so that's not really a big factor in my mind, because after, if there is no other way for anybody to score strawberries, and that is my thing, then I can just collect a lot of those without a lot of competition. Also, I haven't seen a game yet where that was a factor. Somebody won because they were able to synergize their secret or individual objective with things that scored on the table. And if that happens, you know what? The game lasts 10 minutes, play again, and maybe next time that will not happen. So, Piece of Pie, extremely simple, extremely linear, but for a family game, quite entertaining, quite addictive also, because it's hard to play a single game when it sets up so easily and quickly. It's fun and simple, and your kids will ask you to play over and over again. At least this is what happened in my family, where we played a string of games, and basically we're like, okay, kids, now it's time for you to go to bed. Actually, it was time an hour ago to go to bed, but no, we're not going to play one more game. Now we're gonna play it tomorrow. So fun, simple, light family game. Maybe it would even work again a game night as a filler, but not much more than that, of course. Game night with hardcore gamers. So I can say this one is a warm-up, little silly light activity, but this one works probably better as a family game. At least it has worked in my family. And yeah, I better go to bed now because tomorrow morning gotta wake up early because my girls want to play Piece of Pie.